What's up, YouTube? Squad game back. This time I am playing Connected Franchise on Madden 16 with, you guessed it, the Minnesota Vikings. This team is really on the rise with a really good running back in Adrian Peterson, who's looking to have a big year after missing all of last year, and other players like Kyle Rudolph, a big tight end that can really go get the ball, and wide receivers like Cordarrelle Patterson, who's been on a drought lately, but can hopefully turn it around, and a young man, Charles Johnson, who's really busted onto the scene, and a new speedster out wide, and Mike Wallace. The Minnesota Vikings look to win the NFC North and win their first Super Bowl in franchise history. And that's exactly what I'm going to be looking forward to do with this team. The young man Teddy Bridgewater had his ups and downs in his rookie year, but really impressed and looks like the quarterback for the future for the Minnesota Vikings. With young players like Trey Waynes being drafted from Michigan State and Xavier Rhodes out of Florida State, the secondary of the Minnesota Vikings is looking like one of the best they've had in recent years. People have stepped up, and Harrison Smith is a great free safety at Notre Dame, and Robert Blanton has really done some big things for them in previous years. It's all going to be up, though, to Teddy Bridgewater and Adrian Peterson and what they can do on the offensive end. But here we are taking over the Minnesota Vikings as I give you a rundown on the depth chart. Adrian Peterson and Teddy Bridgewater are the big guys in this team, and hopefully they can do big things for us. The offensive line needs quite a bit of help. Matt Khalil hasn't really showed out like they thought he would after drafting him in top 5 in the draft, but hopefully we can turn him around this year. A lot of things come out of defensive line because Sharif Floyd and Linval Joseph really secure the defensive tackle position, and then with Everson Griffin busting onto the scene after Jared Allen left, big things could happen. After a great rookie year from Anthony Barr, the Minnesota Vikings really secured a spot on their linebacking core, and they went out and got Eric Kendricks as well. Chad Greenway has always been a really good player for the Minnesota Vikings, and hopefully he improves to do that. I already talked about the secondary, so let's get into this franchise. I'll be using these sliders, who are Arios sliders that he made. I'll leave a link in the description, and they are actually really fun sliders to use and get really good outcomes. Here we are. We'll take in the preseason game though first. The first game of the preseason is against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Jameis Winston's debut. I decided to play Adrian Peterson this game because he missed a whole year, so really he needs to get back used to playing some football and stuff, and that's just what he does in the first quarter. He gets himself a touchdown, which is exactly what he needed to boost his confidence. And here's a big play by the rookie Trey Waynes, and he really impressed me all preseason. I think he may be getting a spot, not ahead of Xavier Rhodes, and probably not Terrence Newman, because Terrence Newman has a lot of experience and didn't play too bad either, but he might just find himself some playing time. Jerick McKinnon was one of my favorite players to play with in the preseason. Jerick McKinnon had multiple over 100-yard gains in the preseason, which isn't always saying that much because he's facing some weaker defenses, but he was still really fun to play with. Another fun player to play with here, as you see in this clip right here, Josh Robinson. He had 2 pick sixes, and he just seems like a great athlete, a speedster, someone that can really keep up with some of the faster receivers in the slot in the NFL, and that could come key for the Minnesota Vikings and the NFC North. But all in all, the Minnesota Vikings, our defense was not as good as it should have been. Although we did play some backups and things like that, the defense really wasn't where it needed to be. After the first game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, your Minnesota Vikings get the win 31-20. Sean Hill as a backup quarterback isn't exactly the answer, so if Teddy Bridgewater goes down, we may be in trouble, but we cannot be looking at those kind of things. Like I said, Jerick McKinnon had a great game. Adrian Peterson, his limited carries, had a pretty good game. But all in all, it was a good first game. We just need to keep it going from there and look to the regular season and getting ourselves some wins. Your Minnesota Vikings in week 2, I messed up. I forgot to click the record button. That was my fault. But right here, we're cutting our players, and I know Colin Loeffler's been kind of the long snapper for the Minnesota Vikings in recent years, but I think we have people that can do the business instead. Here's game 2 against the Oakland Raiders, and I apologize I didn't click record, but we faced Christian Ponder, and in this game, Sean Hill had way too many turnovers, 4 interceptions, I believe, and Jerick McKinnon played another great game. Chase Ford, Stefon Diggs are 2 young players that I really look forward to using in this game. Trey Waynes as well with 12 tackles has a great job from the youngster. But in week 3 of the preseason against the Dallas Cowboys, one of the players I talked to you about earlier, Terrence Newman, really had a really good game. I don't believe I show you all of his plays, or maybe even any of them, but he did have 2 picks in this game, but I was really just trying to get through the preseason. That throw right there by Teddy Bridgewater is something we cannot be seeing. Right here, I really like this. Jerick McKinnon trying to fight for extra yards. He does everything he can. Since it's a preseason, I have Sean Hill get things going, go for it on 4th and 6, and we'll see how this works with our young receiving core, and hopefully someone can make a play to find their spot on the roster. 4th and 6 though, Sean Hill throws it. Stefon Diggs trying to fight for extra yards, but he can't quite get it. But I really like Stefon Diggs a bunch, and he's going to get a bunch of playing time for me. But we get the ball back in the 3rd quarter, and Jerick McKinnon's going to get us right up 3rd and goal from the 3. See if we can go give Jerick McKinnon the ball again. And this quick toss to Jerick McKinnon and Madden 16 has really been something good for me. I really enjoy running that play with him. His speed on the outside, and it's not like past Maddens where the tosses just don't work at all. I really enjoyed it. Right here, Minnesota Vikings, 3rd and 7, Stefon Diggs. Right there, he's got to get in the end zone, I think. He ran a little stick route, and he was right by the end zone. He just didn't get in. 4th and inches, though, and Jerick McKinnon gets stuffed, and the Vikings don't get any points. So what I took from week 3 is our defense played really well. Sean Hill made a bunch of mistakes, but that's what's going to happen. You always have the chemistry with the young rookie receivers that are just trying to make their name for this franchise. And I believe that's part of the reason why he had so many turnovers. But then again, Sean Hill, if we need him to, he's really going to have to step up for us. But all in all, 21-13, they're going to throw a Hail Mary in the final seconds. And the young Trey Waynes shows his athleticism and his ball skills to get up, get this interception, and secure the win for the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said earlier, Trey Waynes is one of my favorite players to play with on here, and I really enjoyed playing with him in the preseason. He could find himself quite a bit of playing time, especially if he makes plays like this. Now, when we get into the regular season games, I will be doing play-by-play stuff and things like that. But for the preseason, I just want to talk about the team. Like this game, Stefon Diggs, 2 receiving touchdowns. It's exactly what you need from the young man. Josh Robinson, a pick 6. That's what we need. That's the players that are trying to make a name for themselves. And all in all, pretty good job. And a lot of people stepped up for me. And we'll see who on this roster gets cut as we look at the stats again. Stefon Diggs, like I said, had a great game. Our offensive line has been kind of weak, to be honest. Matt Khalil's been letting up a lot. And I know in real life Phil Loadholt got hurt, but on this game, I decided to make it my franchise, not just like the NFL's. So I did not turn on pre-existing injuries. I don't want people like Jordy Nelson in the NFC North being out for the season with the torn ACL and things like that. I want it to happen how it should happen in my franchise, not like real life. Here we are making our cuts. We cut a lot of linebackers in this week. We just got everyone, 2 people at each position is what I usually like to have, except for you'll see later on I cut my right end, who I just don't think is going to get playing time, and I really think Daniel Hunter has a really good potential with this team. But into the next game, against the final week of preseason, right there, Jerick McKinnon tries to dive in the end zone in a really weird play as he dives and hits someone in the knee, and it's a touchback, and the Titans will take over. The Titans in the 2nd quarter, they'll get things going with Bishop Sankey, who really had a good game against us. And right here, they're going to get on the board first. In week 4 of preseason, not a whole lot impressed me, but I'm not surprised because the preseason just probably drags on for a lot of these players. But people like Jerick McKinnon really made things like this count, and he could be seeing himself a featured back along with Adrian Peterson. When Adrian Peterson needs a rest, I am feeling confident with bringing in someone like Jerick McKinnon. But right here, we try to get a goal line stand at Minnesota Vikings, and it turns into 3rd and goal. And let's see what the Titans can do here. He drops back and he finds him over the middle, and that's a touchdown. That's where my linebacking core, I feel like we can stop the run really well, but when it comes to receiving, our linebacker core is just not where it needs to be. But things will hopefully improve as the team progresses throughout the season, and I look to go multiple years deep in this franchise. And with the game just starting up, and so is the NFL season, I'm really in the mood to play this game, so be expecting a lot of content and an online franchise with another member of Squad Gaming, which videos could be out very soon. But besides the point, this Minnesota Vikings franchise, I'm really excited to get this thing going. This team is really on the rise, and I believe that we can lead this team for their first Super Bowl in franchise history. But I thank you guys for watching as I show you guys the final cuts, and there's only one more thing that I'm really happy about in this Minnesota Vikings franchise. And after we cut all these players, our last tight ends, you will see that throughout the preseason we had 0 injuries, but there were some big injuries throughout the NFL. Cam Newton was hurt, Carson Palmer was hurt, Julian Edelman was hurt, players like that. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys for Week 1 Monday Night Football.